Well, hey everybody, I've got my good friend Dan Parsons here, and we're going to do just a little bit of woodworking today. So I have a project that I'm working on. It's this is one half of the top, and what we need to do today is we need to run it through his joiner to get a good glue edge. So Dan was gracious enough to invite me over. Well, I invited myself.
Always welcome.
But Dan was gracious enough to spend some time with me today. And we're going to show you a few tips on how to run this equipment through the joiner, or run this material through that equipment. And I'll turn it over to Dan here, and then we'll cover some tips that he's going to do.
So a joiner is not a necessary tool. There are lots of ways around it. But for me, the easiest way is to have one and to use it properly. So it is a tool that, as Scott alluded to, makes two surfaces ready for joining. However you want to do that. A lot of times we're just using it for a glue joint, like today.
Yeah, and so just for a visual, you'll see what we need to do is we need to make this edge and this edge as fine and matched as possible so that the glue gets maximum bonding strength and the workpiece is flat as can be.
And people don't like seeing your glue joint, and a properly mated glue joint is almost invisible. So the first step is, once you get your joiner set up, is how big of a cut are you taking? So if you have a board with a significant bow in it, you're going to have to take a lot more material off than if you have something that's almost perfectly straight. And so a real easy way to figure out how much you're going to need to take off is to put it on a flat edge or a flat surface, something that you know is flat and square, and just see how it rests on there naturally, and that'll give you an idea on how much you need to take off. So, Scott?
Okay, we'll take it over to the table saw and we'll show you what we're talking about.
So here we have a table saw with a precision ground cast iron top. So we know that this is perfectly flat and perfectly aligned. So if we take one of our edges and set it on here, we can observe this line to see how far off of true it is. And we can see here that we're flat to the surface and flat to the surface with a little high spot here that's about as thick as a playing card, maybe two. So roughly, let's say about a 32nd of an inch. So that is minimum what we're going to have to take off of this panel. So what we're going to do is we're going to check the other panel now. And we're going to make sure we're looking at the surface that we want to look at when it's glued up. So this is going to be the upper surface, I believe.
Yep.
Just like on the last one. So we're going to look here, and we can see here that we have pretty much no shadow across except for just in a couple of spots right here and right here. So this one needs maybe a 64th of an inch, but the joiner is pretty much the least we're going to take off is a 32nd. So that's what we're going to aim for. Now another trick is, in order for this glue joint to work, it needs to be perfectly square, or it needs to be complementary. So what I mean by that is these two pieces need to come together perfectly aligned here in reference to their plane. So a trick we can do that is, if your joiner isn't perfectly square, or you're not sure it is, you can actually run these two through the joiner together, clamp together, and so what you get by doing that is this joint now down here where we're cutting will be perfectly aligned. Now it might be off one side or the other, or 90 degrees, but they will be complementary to each other when you put it together, and that joint will disappear when properly done. So one of the things that we do when we're setting up for anything is dust collection. So I brought my dust collector out here. We're out in the fresh air because it's kind of stuffy today. So we've got the most dust collector I could afford, and that's how we go. Connected to the joiner, and so what we're going to do is we'll turn the dust collector on, then we'll turn the joiner on, and we'll run this through, and we're going to listen to make sure we get a full cut. All right, so Scott, go ahead and turn on the dust collection. Hearing protection's a must.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
the reason I stopped when I did is I took that across and we got a full cut.
I heard that,
I heard
yeah.
that cut all the way across the joint. So now this is where we check our alignment. So if you'll hold that
Yep.
one.
Oh yeah.
And what we have is near perfect alignment. First try.
Beauty.
And that is a lot less finagling because we ran those pieces together. So even if my fence is a little bit off of 0 or 90 degrees, however you view it, just because it's a little off of 90 or not, we run them together, the angles are complementary, we can get a flat, almost invisible glue up.
So that was running your material through a joiner to get a good edge-to-edge glue surface so that it's flush with each other. This is going to turn out to be about a 22-inch square piece. Started with 2 pieces that were a little bit oversized, had some trimming down to do, but did want to thank Dan for letting me come over here and use his joiner. I don't have a joiner, and that's a tip for you also, is that if you are trying to get into woodworking, you don't have to wait until you have every tool that you think you'll need. There's a lot of folks around. I've known Dan, gosh, a long time.
Long time.
And so you don't have to own every woodworking tool known to man. If you know somebody that's got stuff that you can use, most folks that I know are more than willing to help you out. You know, and so just a quick drive up the road for me, instead of having a joiner. I know somebody that has one. I have that as a goal of mine, to get a joiner one day, but until then, you can still make projects while you wait, or as you wait. So Dan, any last words of wisdom?
Hey, don't let pride get in the way of a good project. So I borrow time on tools consistently. You know, I have a joiner and I have a benchtop planer, but I don't have a large planer or you know, other things that make the job go a lot easier, like a wide drum sander. I don't have those things, you know. Yeah, don't let pride get in the way of a good project. Get your hands dirty, get in there, get the stuff done, borrow the time or rent the time that you need, but keep your skills moving forward. Don't let something stop you from a project that's going to teach you how to be a better woodworker. And that's my best advice.
I can't say anything better or have anything to add. So thanks for watching. Hope you found this useful. And if you did, there's a button in the right hand corner. You can click that for subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave those in the comment section below. And if it's a question for Dan, you know, he can answer it. If it's a question for me, I can answer it. But anyway, thanks for watching.
Bye.